All right, now, everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show. Now, some of you people have been with me before. You know it's going to be a tough grind, but we're going to have a show.
And hello, all. It's our Friday show, and wherever you are on this magical planet, welcome. Mark here with the crew. We've got Kim on board today. Kim doing, as you're aware,
Kim, how are you?
many shows.
Chit-chit.
Yeah, she's chit-chit-chitting. And Albert's on board.
Albert, thank you.
Albert of Commissioner of Sports fame. I doubt we're going to get into many moments where we can talk sports today, Commish, but I know it's a big weekend. In fact, I'd say this is probably the marquee game of the weekend that the Niners are facing. Wouldn't you say that, Albert?
Classic, yep. It's you think of the 90s, you think of the 80s, you think of two powerhouses.
Yeah, Cowboys and Niners. So, if you're new to us, we are 1 year ago, we took a show from the radio and we moved it to YouTube, and now it's this hybrid as we continue to evolve, but we exist completely because of that audience and some more audience that's found us that's nice enough to support us every month. Really, that's how we do it. And in our 1 year anniversary week, we have some special greetings, and I will share them with you now. In fact, you mentioned, of course, on Fridays. Oh, well, you know what, Kim, we've been on the air a year, and I know you struggled to remember what we do day to day. And
Friday
I know
Fabulous, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. The names of things of kind
Murder,
of...
Mark, Mystery,
yeah, exactly. And I always felt it was funny.
Kim, how are you?
I didn't feel as though,
Yeah.
it was that big a deal.
Right. That's
So
what I
we've been
thought.
on for a year. Tell everybody, without looking, what will be on the show today. On every Friday.
Every Friday we have. I've filled in enough for you now that I can do it. Friday Fabulous Florida is straight ahead.
She got it. That was the degree of difficulty on Friday
Former
Fabulous.
fabulous super producer John Daly,
Yeah.
who I would argue is still fabulous and still a producer, even though it's formerly of this show. We have Michael Shure and Jim Avila, who are both amazing. And I live for Fridays and the conversation that you have with those two. Just
Kim's sort
so
of
good.
padding her part here with the description, but
Well,
all right, yes, that's right.
Really? You asked me. Take
It's
another
true.
sip
There's
of
never
coffee
been
and
anything
chill
like
out.
this.
I'm gonna.
And then the Culture Blaster, Michael Snyder, following it up with the movie reviews on
Wow,
Friday.
extra points for knowing Culture Blaster. Very
Thank
impressive.
you. You
Kim,
think I'm not paying attention. There's something in there that really is paying attention.
You are very
Yeah.
impressive when you want to be. Absolutely. So
Especially, I'm doing news at the same time as all this is going on.
I
So
don't know how you do it, Kim. I
Right.
don't know how you do it.
You know,
Thank
they do this
you.
to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
Now,
Wes with $5.
thank you for getting us started, Wes.
Yes.
Wes, you are a regular, and I give you a big shout out.
Big shout out.
Hey, Albert, have you reached out to Dan Ashley to see if he's going to pop in at some point? Have you reached out to anybody, Albert?
Yeah, I've texted them. Let me just remind them. I did it like a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh, you did? Wow, that's
It's coming
unreal.
out.
I can't, Albert, actually, I am surprised. I said, we had a meeting, and I said, look, for anniversary, it'd be fun to touch base with, like, Raj Mathai, who was the first guy to fill in for me on KGO Radio.
Yeah.
And, Spencer, and I talked to Spencer, and Spencer's going to be part of our meetup. And I've got news about the meetup, and sorry to pinball around, but we'll get a lot of Bay Area luminaries and those from other areas, too, as the meetup starts to come together. That's next Thursday. Trump's drop-worthy comment coming out of court yesterday. I have a lot of cash, and I have a lot of everything. Is that what he said, Julie? That's really great.
We have to go back and try to find that. That's great.
Oh, my God, that's terrific. Yeah, that's...
Saudi Arabia pays cash.
I don't know what the...
I have a lot of cash and I have a lot of everything.
Oh, I love that. I really do love that. I didn't
say what?
Okay. Well, we'll try to get it. You know who is the drop grabber now is
Trevor in Hollywood.
Trevor in Hollywood. He's amazing. Yeah. Speaking of Trevor in Hollywood, if you missed it, Here is Trevor in Hollywood's greeting, one of a few that we will share with you. And then I have a major announcement, a couple of a major announcements, actually. And we'll get into Biden's border wall. We'll get into nuclear secrets being spilled by Trump. But here is Trevor in Hollywood, everyone.
Hi, I'm Trevor Starr in Hollywood. I'd like to wish Mark Thompson and the whole cast and crew a very happy anniversary. Congratulations on 10 incredible years of The Mark Thompson Show.
Actually, it's one.
What's that?
It's the 1 year anniversary.
1 year. Really?
Yeah, 1 year.
Well, Mark, you managed to make it through an entire year. That's fantastic. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Wouldn't you say?
I love that.
That's really cute.
Then I got this as well.
Hello, happy anniversary. This is Francine P. from Katati. So happy anniversary, Mark, Kim, Albert, Tony. I love Mondays, MMM, and Fridays, FFF. My mom lives in Florida, so it's hilarious. And everything in between. And I love all your special guests, and I want to wish you the best. Cheers.
Oh, that's very, very nice. Thank you.
And Mark, I got one more from Vilma.
Oh, great. Let's see Vilma, or let's hear Vilma.
Hi, Mark. I just want to say happy anniversary to you and Kim and Albert and the whole gang. May you have many anniversaries to come.
Oh, that's very nice.
There's something about hearing the voices and seeing the faces of these people that I've just grown to love in the chat, that it's so powerful to me that you would take time to send these things to us. So grateful.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's coming from someone who is, sadly, I'd like to just be heard and not have my face seen. It's better.
Well, me too. Yeah. We
just,
got something yesterday too, though. Do we have time for one more?
Oh, we've got time. Albert, what did I say we were going to do here, Albert? Albert, what did I say we were going to do when we started doing these things?
Albert, thank you.
What did I say? Do you remember? We just had a conversation 5 minutes ago. When we start running these things, what are you going to do?
Just start playing them, right?
What? Whoever is producing this thing has no idea what they're doing.
Well, it is 5 minutes ago, so I know it's tough to remember. I said we'll run the banner, the crawl. Remember I said that? To let people know if they want to send us communications of some kind, there's a way to do it. Thank you.
Well,
they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
Yeah.
This one, it doesn't have a voice or a picture, but it came in with a hell of a donation to the show.
Oh, okay. And then, please, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Go ahead. This came in last night, I think.
This came in last night, and what you say is after hours trading.
Yeah, so this is, I'm sorry to interrupt, Kim, excuse me, but I was just going to say, this really illustrates something so powerful, I think, which is that many of you have stepped up and you watch and replay, and then you hit that little, the heart with the dollar sign, and you can make a contribution. And you can add a message. Or you can not leave a contribution at all and just, leave a comment. In either case, always read your comments, try to respond to comments when I can. And this came in last night, and I was moved by it for a couple of reasons. But go ahead, Kim.
So I think it qualifies as a major announcement because it's a $200 contribution for the Mark Thompson Show.
A major announcement from the Mark Thompson Show. A major announcement.
That is pretty big. It's a huge one-time donation that comes in again through a super sticker, I guess you'd call it, or but it was really the note that was attached to it that I thought was quite strong. So maybe go ahead.
This is from Stephen Ironmonger, and I apologize, Stephen, if I'm saying your name incorrectly. As Stephen says, I moved to the Bay Area from Ireland in 1991. Sometime later, I found KGO. I really enjoyed listening to the station. Ron, Gene, et al. Would always make my day. I almost abandoned the station when Armstrong and Getty arrived on the scene. Trust me, I feel that pain. Try sitting through Dr. Laura doing traffic on Sundays. However, Dr. Emil Schaffhausen sorted me out.
Yes.
He told me about
Someone
the
did
scene.
this to spoil our Christmas.
No.
Told me about the scene. He encouraged me to stay. Initially, when Mark joined, I was betwixt and between continuing on.
Oh.
I'm very glad I decided to continue with KGO. And I have to say, Mark has become my favorite former KGO host. I was so pleased when I found the YouTube channel and the podcast I normally listen while exercising. Keep running, Stephen. Don't stop. Congratulations on the first year, and here's to many more.
Wow,
and
that is, yes.
In Irish, tu mailith na hobra. I don't know if I said it right, probably not. A good start is half the work. And I think you and the team have made an excellent start.
Oh, very nice. Really is nice. That was such a beautiful, something about the Irish, man. They really know how to say stuff. God.
So good. Such a great note. Thank you, Stephen Ironmonger. Keep lifting those weights and running. We'll inspire you
really,
to keep
really cool.
working
Thank you
out.
so much, man. That your comments meant a lot, as you can tell. I really was quite taken by them, especially, when you have that kind of history with the station. It was really quite special to get that. So thank you. From Steve Becker, who is one of the great publicists, who's dished us a couple of good guests along the way. Traditional first anniversary gift is paper. So imagine this is a paper Lincoln. Yeah, there's a 5-spot. Happy anniversary, Mark and team.
Thanks, Steve.
5-spot
You're awesome.
from Steve Becker, everybody.
Yeah.
Big shout out.
Big shout out.
Sweet.
And now, Albert, I wonder if we can legit. Oh, is this? I can't quite see it. Can you
Hula
help me?
Steph. It's Hula Steph.
Hula Steph. Big shout out.
Big shout out.
$20 from Hula Steph. Happy anniversary from Hula Steph and Grady Popoki Ele Black Cat. Namahalo for adding fun to our lives and hard times, not to mention Jim Avila. I love him too, Hula Steph. You're awesome.
Now,
Aloha.
Jim Avila's got a big following on this show. Hula Steph, big shout out. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
20. Thank you for the 20. Thank you all very much for anniversary greetings.
Yeah.
Any others, Albert? Or are we good on that now?
We're good for now. We have a couple more that we'll play throughout the show.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, I do have another major announcement, which is related to our meetup.
A major announcement from the Mark Thompson Show. A major announcement.
Could you, if you would be good enough, Albert, to put it up? This is the Mark Thompson Show anniversary night. It'll be on the actual night of our anniversary, which is next Thursday, the 12th. A virtual meetup. You'll be given a link. You will join us. Myself, the team, will have special guests coming through too. And this is the major announcement. It'll be 2 glorious hours. The time has shifted just by 45 minutes. We'll start at 7:45 and we'll go to 9:45. 7:45 to 9:45 next Thursday. Had to shift the time by 45 minutes. Happy to talk about why. Had to do with Courtney and the thing I have to attend. So to keep peace in the neighborhood. The limit is 20 people. There are still, I want to say 6 spots open, something like that. RSVP to mtsmeetup@gmail.com. It's a $50 donation to the show to be part of things. And we're just so grateful that you guys are going to jump on board. There are actually a couple of people who are coming back for this meetup who were at the last meetup. They had so much fun. So I really think it is
There's
fun.
never
It's
been anything
informative.
like this.
Yeah, come join us. The limit is 20 so that we can actually interact with people. And again, RSVP to mtsmeetup@gmail.com. And the first 20 we'll get it. That's our major announcement.
This has been a major announcement.
that's right.
The Mark Thompson Show. A major announcement.
It's next week, Thursday. William Geip with a quick 3-spot. Thank you, William. Appreciate that.
Big shout out.
Thank
now,
you.
nothing would really be right if I gave you all positive,
Oh.
So let me share a negative email with you. I mean,
I can't believe you guys made
I've
it to a
received
year.
a lot of positive letters.
Yeah. It's here is someone who is
suck. No,
that's not quite that. Although maybe it's just half a click off of that.
Uh-oh.
It comes from the North Bay at the 707. Whoa.
That's my region.
I know. That's why I call it out. Big shout out.
Big shout out.
Rude.
Hi, Mark and Kim. This is a classic knife.
Uh-oh.
It starts with the I love, and then it hits with the but. I love you, but I want a divorce. Here it is. Hi, Mark and Kim. I don't see why you need to sully Kim with all of these hostilities, but all right. Hi, Mark and Kim. I love your show, but both of you are talking like you are talking to kindergartners.
No, we're not.
Very slow and dragging on. Listen to your show sometime, and you will know what I'm talking about. It drives me nuts.
Why are you yelling?
Wow. Not signed. No name attached.
Do we speak too slowly?
I think you do. I'm kidding.
I don't speak too slowly.
No, you don't. I don't. I really, honestly, I don't. And you know me. Like, I'm ready to go. Oh, do we do that? Do we do it? No.
I speak normally.
I do listen to the show, and I'm brutal, particularly on me. I mean, that's kind of where. And so I can see where you can be frustrated by certain things, as am I. But I don't think we speak too slowly. I really don't. You know. But the show needs more cowbell. Exactly.
Everybody's a critic.
Everybody needs something. But all right. Without any further delays, thank you very much for indulging us this way. It is our 1 year anniversary, so we're kind of.
Julie says nobody likes her.
Nobody likes her. Where's the nobody likes her? I thought I had that.
That's a good recall, Julie. Well done.
Yeah. It's great. So many people know I feel like nobody likes her is.
Nobody likes her.
Nobody likes her. Like it's around here.
Nobody likes her.
There it is. Yeah, that's it. Right.
Nobody likes her.
All right. Well,
I said, was it, oh, girl, you just woo, and nobody likes her were two of my favorites. And I said, play those for me, like when you introduced. Okay, and then you did it, and people got upset because they thought you were being mean to me when I was the one who requested it in the first place.
People are so ready to jump on me for being mean to you. It's hilarious.
Girl, you just woo.
Yeah. But and of course, Albert's theory throughout KGO and here is the minute people don't like something, then you just hammer the crap out of it.
Absolutely.
That's when you run it. It means it's cutting through.
Yeah, we need to slow down. We're talking too fast already.
We're talking way too fast.
Yeah. I mean, again, maybe he's listening, and, you know, if you listen on the podcast and you slow your podcast playback down, then it sounds slow. But, all right, Albert, can I just quickly do a moment on the border wall, or what do you have? What do you have loaded?
I do have a package for you from I think CBS.
So we'll
The Mark Thompson Show.
Big news, as you know, because border wall construction is resuming. Here's a little bit of a piece to describe some of what's happening and the controversy.
We begin tonight with a major reversal by the Biden administration due to the ongoing crisis at the southern border. The administration is moving forward with plans to build new border barriers in South Texas. And that's an abrupt change from a campaign pledge made by then candidate Joe Biden. The president defended his decision, saying he has no choice because the funding was approved specifically for a border wall. For just the second time in history, data from the Department of Homeland Security shows apprehensions along the southern border surpassed 2 million in the past year. Southern states are not alone in feeling the impact, with Texas Governor Greg Abbott sending busloads of asylum seekers to so-called sanctuary cities. Mayors from New York to Los Angeles say they are being overwhelmed by the massive influx of migrants. CBS's Nancy Cordes is going to start us off tonight from the White House. Good evening, Nancy.
Nora, good evening. Not only is the Biden administration fast-tracking the construction of this wall, it's also waiving 26 different laws and regulations to do something that President Biden vowed never to do.
It's the waiving of those regulations. I think it's a big deal.
Panels will be installed along a 20-mile stretch of the Rio Grande near McAllen, Texas. They are meant to stop scenes like this. Hundreds of migrants racing towards the U.S. border on Tuesday night. President Biden insisted today he didn't want to build the wall, but that his hands were tied by a law Congress passed in 2019.
They have to use the money for what was appropriate. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
But his own Homeland Security Secretary, traveling in Mexico, said they do work. Secretary Mayorkas issued a notice stating there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers in order to prevent unlawful entries into the United States. Immigration is a sensitive political issue for President Biden, who made this campaign promise in 2020.
There will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration.
But as illegal border crossings have surged above 200,000 last month alone, even some of his political allies have grown critical. In Chicago, hundreds of migrants are sleeping on the sidewalks outside police stations. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker wrote, the federal government's lack of intervention and coordination at the border has created an untenable situation for Illinois. New York City's Democratic mayor has also been outspoken and issued this warning in Mexico today.
We want to give a real picture of what's happening in New York City. We are at capacity.
Late this afternoon, the administration announced it will be restarting direct deportations of Venezuelan migrants back to their home country. Venezuelans accounted for nearly a quarter of all illegal border crossings last month.
Okay, so thank you, Albert. And that I thought was a great setup piece. By the way, you know, we've had to essentially bribe or incentivize the direct return of these Venezuelan migrants, for example. You know, millions of dollars go into making that happen. A lot of this is about money. And just speaking to the money issue, and we'll talk to Michael Shure and Jim Avila about this. And Avila, I think, has spoken quite clearly on the fact that there were deals made and there was an immigration legislative path to an actual change in the way immigration policy was handled in this country. And then it was essentially scuttled. It was under the Obama administration. I'll have Avila review that for us again, or just summarize it for us again. But in any case, so the idea that what's going on at the border is used for political purposes, that doesn't surprise me. There is if I can be, and I know this is a kind of a pro-Biden crowd, and I don't get me wrong, I get it, you know, given the choice. Biden would be my choice as well, but I'm just saying that there is, to be speaking frankly, a certain bankruptcy to the notion that, oh, I've got this money, it's been earmarked for this thing, there's nothing I can do, I have to spend it, I have to build the wall. That's just not true. I mean, it may be true that the money is directed that way and focused that way, but there are plenty of things that were holding up that wall construction. He mentioned a few of them, or it was mentioned in the piece, right? You've got, you know, safe drinking water and the clean air provisions, Endangered Species Acts. These are all things, you know, to protect migratory birds and farmland and wildlife habitat. And, you know, because I'm a tree hugger, I'm kind of keeping track of that. This wall really destroys all of these very fragile habitats. So that said, I'll leave aside whether or not you should build the wall. I'm just saying the idea somehow that I had to build the wall because Trump already started the process, I just don't buy that. Again, I'll talk to Avila and Shure about that. But there's definitely a huge problem, a massive immigration problem in this country. And there has been, and that wave is cresting bigger than it has in a long time. But the idea that the wall has to be built somehow because the ball was set in motion by the last administration, that's simply not true in my judgment. Go ahead, Kim.
There's an article on MSN that came out, I believe, today that says something that's just so frustrating to me about what government does where one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing. And they say the Biden administration has been selling off materials that were supposed to be used to construct barriers at the border with Mexico just days before it approved the construction of this new 20-mile stretch of border wall. There's this auction site called GovPlanet where state, local, and federal agencies auction off surplus inventory. And they have apparently, it's shown that they've been selling off lots of square iron and steel wall tubing for tens of thousands of dollars as recently as Wednesday.
Wow.
Right. I mean, so they're selling off materials to build the wall with one hand. On the other hand, they're saying, well, got to spend the money, got to make the wall. What are you doing?
Yeah, that feels just like government that, as you say, is at it again. You know, it's not, I don't think it's unique to this administration at all. Look, the idea of breaking campaign pledges, I put that in a separate category too. I mean, my God, minimum wage, legalization of pot, these are all things that were talked about too. And, you know, that just never happened. And the only campaign pledge that the last administration made good on was a tax cut. That's all they do. GOP is essentially it's the tax cut party for billionaires. You know, billionaires who pay 3% on their income tax. That's right, 3% is what billionaires pay. But in any case, I'll talk to Avila and Shure about this. I just don't. I know that's the headline that Biden is breaking a promise, but border policy and immigration policy is what I'm really concerned with. And it seems to be an overwhelming task. And clearly this administration is throwing everything at it that they can. It's going to be a major political issue too. And I think on some level, Biden is trying to stop the bleeding in that area as well. So that's what's happening with the border wall. As I say, we'll talk to Jim and Michael about that top of the next hour.
The Mark Thompson Show.
I still don't have my, it's John Daly's early. So we can do a little news capsule. I see John waiting. And John is so good to spend Fridays with us for Friday Fabulous Florida. We'll do that next. Smash the like button like a boss if you would.
Smash it with your iron rod.
Smash with your iron rod. Yeah. We've had some good smashing. Thumbs up costs you nothing.
Smash it with your iron rod.
Share this show or share segments, share videos. That's how we grow this audience. Throw it on your Facebook page, whatever you kids do. The Facebook, the TikTok, whatever you're into. But that's how the show's footprint is broadened. So, Friday Fabulous Florida next. Mark Thompson Show.
The Mark Thompson Show.
On the Mark Thompson Show, I'm Kim McAllister, and this report is sponsored by Tenuta Vineyards.
All right.
Yeah. As we were just talking about the wall, a Texas Democratic congressman is responding to the Biden administration's decision to restart border wall construction in the state. Representative Henry Cuellar believing the president had to act now that other cities are dealing with an influx of migrants. The Department of Homeland Security announcing the administration is waiving 26 federal laws for wall construction in South Texas due to high illegal entry. The move comes as a surge of migrants is straining federal and local resources. And Fani Willis is detailing now the threats that she's been dealing with as the Fulton County District Attorney. She tells First State Update they began when her office indicted former President Donald Trump and 18 others for allegedly interfering with the 2020 election in Georgia. Willis told the Fulton County Board of Commissioners the threats come in the mail, they come over the phone, and they even come through text messages. She is asking the commission for more power when it comes to vetting and hiring her own staff, saying she's got to have people who are loyal to her and that her life actually means something to them. That's how bad the threats are. Crazy. The United Auto Workers president is set to announce a possible expansion of the strike against the big three automakers. Later today, Sean Fain is set to make the announcement. The UAW president has spoken the last 2 Fridays to announce the additions to the ongoing work stoppage. Meanwhile, a televised forum featuring candidates running to be Speaker of the House is a little bit off. at Fox News, sadly. The Fox News today announced Representatives Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, and Kevin Hern would all take part, but reports say lawmakers have pulled out of this event. A speaker election is set for next week after, of course, Kevin McCarthy was forced out of the role in a historic vote earlier this week. Total mess, and they can't do anything. Their hands are tied. So the business of the people is basically non-existent right now. There is a new study that suggests yelling at your kids can cause them problems later in life. Researchers at Wingate University and the University of College of London found verbal abuse can have lasting repercussions on a child's mental health and physical health too. The study, published in the journal Child Abuse and Neglect, notes higher rates of depression, substance use, and other behavioral disorders among children once they become adults. So don't yell at your kids. I guess my kids are going to be in really poor shape later on.
Are you a yeller, Kim?
This is a problem.
Are you a yeller?
Why are you yelling? I try not to be a yelling mom.
Right.
I have failed. There are sometimes when I'm a yelling mom but I really make a significant effort to try not to be, but there are some times when it's like, and then I feel bad. Being a parent is hard, I'll tell you.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But nobody wants to be that yelling person, right?
Why are you yelling?
That.
Yeah, of course not.
Why are you yelling?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I wish I had a picture. I'm sorry I don't have one for you, but I would like to tell you that legendary Chicago Bears linebacker and NFL Hall of Famer Dick Butkus has died at the age of 80. The team cited family members as saying Thursday that he died peacefully in his sleep. Butkus spent his entire career with the Bears after being drafted by the team in 1965, made it to 8 Pro Bowls. So.
Well, he was also this very high profile. The commissioner may want to weigh in on this. He was a very high profile guy in show business. He took his prowess and his profile from sports and he segued it into commercials and movies, and he became one of those guys, the kind of people who take their profession and turn it into something. Athletes particularly, they take their fame and they're able to translate it into other media, and he was one of the first to really do that, I think, out of the world of the Chicago Bears, and he was a Hall of Fame football player. There he is, huge for his time, and an amazing ball player, but then able to really continue a career outside of football. I guess, he was on many, many TV shows. He was on and part of many, many movies. He played himself in Brian's Song, which is something that a few boys and girls may remember. It was a docudrama about Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers. Anyway, he's larger than life. I know that is often said about people like him, but Dick Butkus, really a remarkable personality as well as an athlete.
Also an all-time name, Mark.
Yes, you're right. Butkus is such a strong name.
I was going to say, don't we think the name has something to do with the fame?
It's
Because who
not
doesn't
fake.
remember
That's
that
real.
name?
You're right. I mean, I don't think it hurt, that's for sure. He was 6'3", 245. Good size for that era that he played in.
Yeah.
He played middle linebacker. All-Pro 5 times. Chosen for the Pro Bowl 8 times. And, of course, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1979.
And he's passed away at the age of 80.
Mm.
So this is a big to-do. The Powerball is here for us. Well, probably not here for us. We're here for it. We're pouring money into something that's never coming our way. Saturday's Powerball jackpot is the 3rd largest ever. It is up to $1.4 billion after no one matched the winning numbers since July. A single winner would have the option of a lump sum cash prize of more than $600 million. Saturday's jackpot is the 5th largest lottery prize in U.S. history. The drawing takes place at 11 p.m. Eastern on Saturday.
As I mentioned to you, they added a number, which is why you're seeing these huge jackpots now that, all of a sudden, huge jackpot after huge jackpot. They've made it even harder to win by adding a number. But when you win it, it's going to be that much more money.
When you win it, you really win it. Yeah.
So
it's going to be good. Last story, and I don't know why anybody would think that this would make good jewelry, but customs officials say they have seized a box of giraffe feces at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport.
What?
An Iowa woman tried to declare the feces after returning from a trip to Africa last Friday. This according to a U.S. Customs and Border Protection news release. She allegedly told workers that she planned to turn the feces into a necklace. What?
What the hell is going on in the United States of America?
That's a lovely necklace you have.
Ron really
Thank you. It's made of giraffe turds. Yes.
Wow.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
The Customs and Border Patrol people destroyed the feces. They say it's not illegal to bring animal feces into the United States, but those who decide to do it need a veterinary services permit. That was not the case
Did
here.
you really just do that?
The giraffe feces has been destroyed, and that's the way it is.
But that doesn't mean that it's a good thing.
I feel like every drop works with this story.
I mean, really.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
Exactly. Or
seriously, what the
right. They all work. They all work.
Were you going to make the necklace yourself? Or I don't know. What's happening?
I think it's pretty clear how they were going to...
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
They're going to stitch together the dried fecal matter, and that's your necklace.
Gross. I mean, who wants to... They're going to stitch
what's a
it
guilty
together?
pleasure you have?
Right.
No, they're going to stitch it together. And then is it going to smell when you're wearing it?
No,
That's the most
it's past
disgusting
the
thing
smell
I've ever...
stage. It's now solid.
No. What, like an old dried poop necklace hanging from your neck?
This is a word from the Lord, and he's not happy.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Best you can do. Some people wear diamonds, other people wear giraffe turds. So
well, I don't know.
Morning.
I don't
You
understand.
do not know what you are talking about.
Any distinguishing characteristics? Well, she was wearing a turd necklace that maybe...
So gross. I'm telling you what.
A what?
Okay.
A turd necklace. Yeah.
A turd necklace. Yeah. Gross.
Well,
there's never been anything like this.
Giraffe turds. Okay.
Yeah.
So this report is indeed sponsored by Tenuta Vineyards, and Mr. Tenuta, Rick.
Okay, I love Lucy Grapes. Stop your grapes in. Woo!
This is fun.
Oh. You guys got it okay?
So this is video of the I Love Lucy grape stomp.
All right, here they go.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
You can hear the squish.
Are you guys hiring?
Now, we should be clear, this is not how they make all the wine at Tenuta Vineyard. But it is a great thing that you can do.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So I will tell you that out at Tenuta Vineyards, they have the grape stomp coming up. And I have some information for you that I do want to share. Here's a picture of it out in Livermore, beautiful Tenuta Vineyards. So here's the story. Rich at Tenuta sent this video of the grape stomp. He says these grape stomps are really fun. There's nothing like the smell of freshly harvested grapes in the fall to get you in that whole autumn spirit.
Yeah.
So get out to Tenuta and stomp. You can contact Rich to book a reservation. There are 3 stomps this month and space is limited. So if you want to go do it, grab a friend, take your family, whatnot, and go stomp. You've got to call him. The stomps
Limited stomp spaces available.
That's right. October
All right.
15th, October 22nd, and October 29th. It comes with a catered luncheon. So it's going to be, you stomp, you have a little fun, you have a catered lunch, you sip some wine, super fun. Rich will fill you in on all the pricing and the information, but I did specifically ask him if the official Mark Thompson 10% off applies to the Grape Stomp luncheon, and he said it does.
Wow,
so,
that's very good. Okay.
So you call Rich for pricing and information at 925-699-4576. 925-699-4576. You can also email him rich@tenudavineyard.com, TENUTA, rich@tenudavineyards.com, and have a really good time at the Grape Stomp. And if you go, please be sure to send us pictures. I'm Kim McAllister. This is The Mark Thompson Show.
Hey, which one do you use, Mark Thompson?
Use Mark Thompson.
Mark Thompson Show.
Yeah, thank you. And there it is. A shout out to our Patreon and PayPal supporters. You keep the show growing and going. You can be a supporter with a one-time or monthly contribution. TheMarkThompsonShow.com. Click through to PayPal or to Patreon. And thank you very much. We're a year into this thing, and I'm really excited that we've made it this far. Hope to make it a lot farther. This guy joins us on Fridays for Friday Fabulous Florida. He's so good to give of his time because he has a lot of other stuff going on. He is John Daly, everyone.
Fabulous producer, John Daly.
Yeah,
hey, y'all.
fabulous producer, John Daly.
It's 81 degrees here in the city with a high of 88
It's a hot,
today.
hot weekend in San Francisco is the city that John is in.
90 yesterday.
Crazy. But John is also the co-host with Kim of the After Party Live.
Yes, and it's live.
It is.
We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Let's get right into it. We've acknowledged a lot of you who've been so great to support us all this time and send us anniversary greetings. We'll try to get into more of those for the next hour. But right now, on Fridays, we feature news from the state. It likes to serve up the odd, bizarre, shocking, gross, lawless. It's Friday Fabulous Florida.
It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
And so it may come as no surprise to you, those who follow Floridians, that the older crowd, they like to roll around just like the younger kids do. And a Florida man, 77-year-old dude, planned to sell misbranded erectile dysfunction drugs to an entire retirement community.
Wow, was his name Donald?
Reginald Odell Kinser is his name, of the notorious retirement community, The Villages.
Yeah, we know this one.
Strange things go on at the Villages.
Get your cart going. Got to get it charged.
It is truly like some kind of ongoing wall-to-wall party.
It sounds like a show tonight on The Villages.
It is a show. I think that's true.
It's like the
It's
Golden
an
Bachelor.
age-restricted community, and this guy, Reggie Odell Kinser, he's being treated like a drug dealer.
He has cute dimples.
Yeah, he is a cute guy.
Well, they usually
77,
treat you like a drug dealer if you're dealing drugs, right?
He could face time behind bars. Federal prosecutors say that he obtained over $1,800 in erectile dysfunction drugs without a prescription from a licensed physician.
Wow.
He allegedly had plans to sell the product, according to federal prosecutors. If convicted, he faces up to a year in federal prison and a fine of $10,000. He had planned to redistribute these drugs to others locally. And according to the charging documents, the others involved in getting him these tablets, Velitra, Snovitra, Senforce, Vidalista. I don't.
Senforce?
I know Senforce is the one I'd want. I don't know what it is.
They
all
all
sound
drugs
great.
or
It's a wild idea, but it just might work.
He has had a prior drug-related run-in with law enforcement, everyone.
Shocking.
Yeah. He was arrested in 2020 for multiple drugs, including... where
are my weed smokers at?
Well, that, yes. Marijuana and psilocybin, like a mushroom, right? And MDMA, which is kind of like another level of that.
Molly.
Yeah, he was given
Allegedly.
3 years of probation. I mean, listen, I will say this. In the Villages, it sounds like he is the stop you want to make if you're into that kind of thing. He seems as though he has quite a reasonably broad brochure of various narcotics. Meantime,
it's probably one of the best mugshot pictures I've ever seen.
Yeah, he does look happy. I mean, but then again, there's a lot of stuff coursing through those veins.
That's what Trump was going
Your
for.
iron rod.
Trump didn't really get what he was going for. I think that's what he's going for.
Well, I think Trump was going for, on his mugshot, strength and anger and
Voldemort.
Yeah, I think he got what he wanted, actually. But a Florida man is arrested for stealing his ex-employer's street sweeper to, quote, do a job with a competing company.
Oh.
Yeah. Kevin Rodriguez Aponte. Yeah, I love a guy with a plan, and this is a good one. Here he is. He was arrested and charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle. A lawn care business owner says that his street sweeper was stolen from the shop that's operated out of Northeast 150th Avenue. You know where that is, John.
Exactly.
Surveillance video from the business showed a pickup truck in the driveway, someone wearing a gray hoodie under an orange reflective vest, walking around the street sweeper, then touching the street sweeper, and then taking the street sweeper.
What?
The business owner said that Rodriguez Aponte, 29-year-old, shown here, a former employee, he says that he may have taken the street sweeper, and he points out that only somebody who is trained would be able to operate the street sweeper.
That narrows down your list of suspects.
Exactly. Yeah. He says that he, quote, separated from the business about 6 months ago.
Maybe.
Well, it doesn't look like he was good at landscaping because take a look at his beard.
He does have a couple of...
He didn't
I'm going to give
finish.
him credit for... You're right, though. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, that's an incomplete job.
He's not a bad-looking guy, though.
He was told in the... And I agree. Told in the past to not return to the business or use any of the equipment, but he called to ask to use the street sweeper. He was denied that. It's funny about that once you've left the business. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had to just move forward with his plan.
Look, guys,
to
my
use the
street is just really dirty. Just help a guy out.
Can I just borrow it till Christmas? Armed Florida man in tactical vest driving wrong way threatens driver before leading deputies on a chase, everybody. I love a chase. Numerous charges being leveled against a guy who deputies say pulled a gun on a driver. He was traveling the wrong way. The driver who confronted him for traveling the wrong way had the gun pulled on him. That led law enforcement to respond to the scene. And
what can you tell us?
They did...
what can you tell us about the scene?
Law enforcement responding to it, Larry. According to the Citrus County Sheriff's Office, deputies called to the intersection of West Cypress and Pine Street. You know where that is, John. After a man said a wrong-way driver wearing what he believed was a ballistic armor outfit threatened him with a gun. That's when the cops responded, and they went on a huge chase. Instead of stopping, the dude sped off, ran a red light. They pursued the vehicle because of the earlier reported incident with the gun. They followed him onto U.S. Highway 19, then onto U.S. Highway 98. And finally, the pursuit went into Hernando County. Deputies there with the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, they responded. It was a sheriff's party down in Florida on this guy.
Uh-oh, don't tell Grady.
There's a reason that...
there's a reason that this place is fun.
I think it's a situation, Grady.
What he's got going here is a
situation. Exactly.
This sounds like one of those Mad Lib crime stories where you fill in the blank.
Yeah, you're right.
Way.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
They finally got him. And there's his mugshot. He looks happy, like really happy.
Yeah, like drugged out happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he trying to stick his tongue out at us? I think he is.
You can't feel it. I can't feel my tongue.
A Florida man just trying to make some extra money, he said. Caught with
meth.
Anybody?
Hookers
meth?
and blow?
What do you say? You say cocaine, Kim? You say
Right.
meth, John?
Prostitutes.
Yeah. Please, one guess at a time.
Is that
in
your
the
final
chat,
answer?
what was he caught with? Wes says meth. Well, I'm going to tell you. Meth and gators? No, he was not. I was just trying to make some extra money. Caught with over 180 grams of weed is the word we wanted. Weed, everybody. Yeah.
Where are my weed smokers at?
Well, he's doing more than smoking with that kind of look. There he is.
Wow.
Another good-looking. It's the day of good-looking criminals.
He's a good-looking man, and he's got a good-looking stash of marijuana.
I mean, I could see him in a Benetton ad.
Is it anybody but a weed?
Yeah, not an itty-bitty bit. 180 grams, I think is
Much better
quite
presentation with the hair, clean shaven, but he has that cool kind of dyed
as
job
Kim
on his
says,
face.
he's a handsome dude.
Yeah,
he was
it's-
pulled
it-
over on Friday. Deputies saw his car didn't have working tag lights. Jeez, man, they're really.
If you're going to carry around the drugs, maybe you want to do it in a way that causes you to have less attention focused on you.
Yeah. Deputies used a canine. Once you bring the canines in, they know the smell of weed. Led to a positive alert, as they call it. Inside the car, deputies found a green backpack with a container with a green leafy substance inside and empty baggies, a tray, and scale. It's hard to...
That's incriminating.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to fabricate much of a story here with the scale and plastic baggies. They also found cash inside the floorboard and 13 baggies filled with a green leafy substance. Man. All of the aforementioned baggies and paraphernalia field tested positive for marijuana. Aforementioned is a ding word. The 22-year-old admitted to intending to sell the black baggies of marijuana, but said the money on the floor wasn't related to his drug dealing.
Oh, that's a separate account. That's not my drug account.
Wow. Well, he was booked in. I don't need to tell you.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking for a second, I'm like, they're all wearing the same shirt. That's weird. Oh, wait, no, that was provided.
It's the jail cert.
Provided
Yeah,
for
red
standard
and
issue.
white. Red and white, yeah.
A Florida man admits that he was drunk when he fell asleep and drove off from deputies during a traffic stop. Well, this truly is.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's
You don't have to
alcohol
bet
involved.
it. It's right in the story. A man was taken to jail after admitting he was drunk in Ocala, Florida, fell asleep behind the wheel at a Marion County stoplight.
There's that shirt.
Emmanuel Class is his last name. Another handsome guy, 45 years old, arrested on charges of DUI and resisting/fleeing a law enforcement officer.
That was a
so
rough
he's
night.
trying to say, hey, man, I didn't flee. I fell asleep. And, no. The deputy
where I
tried to
was.
wake Class several times, unsuccessfully. He eventually woke up, appeared dazed, and would not respond to deputies as they commanded him to lower his window. He reportedly refused to roll his window down, ultimately drove off from deputies, running from the red traffic light. He was later stopped and taken into custody. They actually performed a pit maneuver on his car and able to get it to stop. He participated in field sobriety exercises. He provided breath samples of .193 and .200. Albert, that's not good, right?
Oh.
I think that's a pretty bad showing.
Good day, sir.
Yeah. I'm going to keep calling 911 back, said a Florida man charged with repeatedly calling emergency services. Deputies saying that they responded to a dispute between James William Jubain and his neighbor. Jubain reportedly tried ordering deputies to conduct their investigation while deputies were still on the scene. Oh, well.
What can you tell us about the scene?
Jubain wants an investigation, Larry. He keeps calling 911. Deputies said they explained to Jubain that if he had concerns that he wanted to address with the supervisor, he could call the sheriff on a non-emergency number. About an hour after the deputies left the area and continued over the next couple of days, Jubain repeatedly called 911 for non-emergency reasons. During one of his calls, Jubain told the emergency call taker, "You want to charge me with abuse of 911? Go for it."
Yeah.
During another call, he said, "I'm going to keep calling 911 back. You can charge me all you want." He was taken into custody.
Wild idea, but it just might work.
Yeah, they went to his residence, transported him to the Marion County Jail, and he's being held on $8,000 bond. They're not messing around.
It looks like they have one of those David Katz cameras.
Where he looks away slightly.
Yeah,
that's
where
very, very good. Good grab, John.
Camera's
on
over
that.
here, dude.
Yes, very, very good. A Florida woman. Thank you, ladies, for getting involved. A Florida woman is arrested after setting up a man that she met on a dating app to be carjacked.
Ooh.
Titusville woman in Titusville, Florida, arrested this past weekend. She set up a guy she met on a dating app, set him up to be carjacked. You know, I'm just looking at her booking images, it says. She looks like a nice lady, too. She's kind of attractive.
She knows her angles. She's done this before.
Yeah.
She has Instagram.
You know, on the dating apps, and she did meet this guy on a dating app, I'd use that picture. I'd crop out booking image. If,
maybe sheriff's office as well.
Right. That's right. Oh, there's that too. Yeah, you've got to change the background and crop out booking. She's 24 years old, Brianna Edie, and she had a plan. She set this dude up with an armed carjacking. Yeah. Authorities say the incident happened at an apartment complex parking lot over on Rocky Pit Road in Titusville. You know where that is, John.
Yeah.
Nothing good.
Matchmaker.
They communicated over the tagged dating app over several days. The two drove off together. They went to this park, unnamed park. Park was closed, so they drove back to what the victim of the carjacking thought was Edie's home on Rock Pit Road. Turned out that they were met by two guys when they went back there, one of whom was armed with a gun. The armed man displayed the gun, ordered the victim out of the SUV, demanded his keys, and Edie calmly got out of the SUV and appeared to, quote, just stand around and wait.
I'm not scared.
The suspects then told the victim to lie in the grass, and while he did that, the men and Edie got into the vehicle and sped off.
What?
She was later taken into custody on the warrant, and she remains in jail without bond. Wow. The victim, by the way, called the cops, reported his car stolen, showed the officers pictures of her because, you know, there was all over text messages and they'd communicated on that dating app, and so there's really nowhere to go.
Tagged and released. More like it.
Yeah, exactly. Tagged and released, exactly. And finally, a Florida hit-and-run victim clings to the car's hood for 2 miles after the woman tries to flee the crash. It happened in Palm Coast.
You got to be in shape to hang on for 2 miles.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
And not only that, the woman who hit this woman who hung onto the hood, she was 76 and is 76 years old.
Oh, so
again, in Palm Coast.
Probably not driving that fast.
Well, actually, they were going 50 miles an hour.
Whoa.
That's pretty fast.
That's extreme for Granny.
Yeah. Cheryl Henderson, the 76-year-old, arrested and charged with leaving the scene of a...
What can you tell us about the scene?
I'm leaving it, Larry. I can't really tell you much about it. Leaving the scene of a crash involving property damage and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Hit-and-run crash happened near the intersection of Palm Coast and Bell Terry Parkway. It happened in the afternoon. The victim told deputies that they used their vehicle, the victim's vehicle, to try to block Henderson from leaving. But Henderson allegedly sped up. Bystanders, including a dude who was alongside, began arguing. And shortly after, Henderson drove her car at that guy. The gentleman came out and said, you know, cops are on the way. We've already called the cops. And that's when she just tried to drive away. Unable to avoid the vehicle, the victim ended up on the hood of the car.
Crazy.
This is a dude, the guy who got into it with her. He hung on desperately as she headed south on Belterry Parkway. Henderson reached speeds of 50 miles an hour as he followed her in an attempt to get her to pull over. So there are two guys involved, one who's tracking and one who got hit by the vehicle. My entire goal
Tom
is
Cruise?
Yeah, it really is crazy.
Wow.
Is there actual video of this, Albert? Albert? No?
Not that I saw.
Okay. Just curious. But he survived, obviously, and she's charged, the 76-year-old, with hit and run, and as I mentioned, assault with a deadly weapon and all that other stuff.
It's being optioned for a film.
It does. It's a scene in a movie. I don't know if you can build the whole movie around it.
Well, Granny, you could build something around Granny.
I will offer it up as one of the stories that you can choose from if you're choosing a favorite. I will quickly review the favorites, and then we will choose a favorite. You can choose a favorite in the chat. Again, these are the stories. The Florida dude, 77 years old, planned to sell misbranded erectile dysfunction drugs in the retirement community called the Villages. The Florida dude arrested for stealing the ex-employer's street sweeper to do a job for a different competing company. The Florida dude, quote, just trying to make some extra money, caught with over 180 grams of weed in the car along with scales and baggies. A Florida man admitting that he was drunk when he fell asleep, drove off from deputies during a traffic stop. I'm going to keep calling 911. There's the dude who just wouldn't stop calling 911 over several days. They finally arrested him. He taunted them. He said, he dared them, arrest me. And they did. Florida woman, I should say, after she set up that whole thing on the dating app, she meets the guy and then they carjack him. There's that story. And finally, the Florida hit and run victim clinging to the car's hood for 2 miles after the woman tries to flee the crash. Speeds of up to 50 miles an hour. Albert, what is leading in the chat, please?
Sorry. Let me double check. I did post it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me refresh it, actually.
All right.
Albert, thank you.
All right. Let's go first to fabulous producer John Daly for your favorite, please, John.
Fabulous producer John Daly.
I like the guy clinging to the car. That's very Florida.
Yeah.
But there's something about the stolen street sweeper. I like the guy's gumption. And it's kind of an original story.
Yeah. It does feel quite original. Yeah. How about you, Kim?
I feel like there's a lot going on at the Villages. You know, there's probably like many storylines there.
Sure.
And I'm intrigued. I'm going with the fellow who's selling the fake erection pills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Albert, what's your favorite, please?
That one is the leading favorite in this in the polls.
Yeah.
55%.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the collection of vehicles gone wild. There's a lot of people going crazy in cars, driving the wrong way, pulling guns on people. I think the streets of Florida have been kind of crazy the past week.
The Fast and the Furious.
That is true.
Albert, thank you.
You're right. It is Fast and Furious down there. For pure Florida, it's so on brand. Retirement community, so many of them in Florida, the Villages. I agree. There's a lot good here with mayhem, but I'm going with the Florida guy who was selling the fake erectile dysfunction drugs in the retirement community. I don't know if they were fake. They were definitely mislabeled.
What was the one? Space Force?
Space Con or something.
Space
Yeah. Right. Give me something with
Rocket
space
fuel.
in it. Right,
Yeah.
right. Exactly.
Elon.
That's what I want. That's Friday, Fabulous Florida for today.
This has been Friday, Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now, here.
I look forward to John seeing you again today on the after
Did you
party
notice
live.
my strike shirt has arrived finally?
Oh, that's great. Your strike shirt, sure.
SAG-AFTRA on
Good
strike.
stuff.
I was
They're
worried
gonna
I
be
wasn't going to
talking-
get it before the strike was over because it's union made.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are talking through the weekend. Those negotiations, they say, are going to continue through the weekend. So I'm hoping
one day longer, one day stronger.
No, very, very well done and well said. I'll see you over on the after party, pal.
Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, John Daly, everybody. Yeah. I am a fan. All right.
The Mark Thompson Show.
We will do a, there it is, by the way, if you want to email us. Albert was nice enough to put the email up there. It's the markthompsonshow@gmail.com. Many of you have sent us anniversary greetings. It is our 1-year anniversary. We are on the air simply because of you. We came over from the radio, and we moved the radio audience, as many as we could manage to get the word out about this, move them here. Mm-hmm. But it's really our Patreon and PayPal supporters that have kept us on the air. So thank you very much. And we have, you can see, this is a band. We play with, other members of the band, and the only way we keep the band on stage is with your continued support. So thank you very much. And thank you for your many emails that just reflect a kind of support for us. And I'll share more of those at the bottom of this hour. Right now, I don't want to wait any longer. These guys have been a very big part of what we've done here every Friday. They offer their thoughts on everything going on politically, internationally. And as we've come into this political season fraught with all kinds of new obstacles and issues, it's so great to get their takes on it. He's the former senior correspondent at ABC News, the former White House correspondent for years at ABC News. How about it for Jim Avila?
Good morning.
And I also want to welcome in the guy who has forgotten more about politics than most of us will ever know. You know him from TYT and beyond. How about it for Michael Shure?
How did you not just have Matt Gaetz as Fabulous Friday?
You're right. I mean, thank you. The Florida contagion has made it into politics in such a big way. I was going to run something that Michael did. He's had a great video. If there's time, I'll run a little bit of it. Albert, you have it, right? You got it ready if we want it. From he went to a Trump rally, and it's pretty terrific. I'll just tease it for now because I want to get right to the border crisis and the decision to build a wall, add to the wall. I had to. The money was already, in the pipeline. What are the realities concerning that, Michael?
I mean, the realities are that you can use that excuse if you're going to do it, but the political winds are saying that something has to be done about the border crisis. So it's a win for, to be able to say, to at least diffuse your the way you've been approached as a, I would say, as a moderate on the border, or thinking that there isn't a border crisis. You can say, look, we are doing this. There was a length of wall that had to be built. Some Democrats are going to be upset because it's playing a hand that was already dealt, and that's problematic as well. But so I don't think it's going to matter because it's so far ahead of the game right now. But it's leaving a funny taste in Democrats' mouths, and I don't think Republicans are buying that this is some sort of Democratic initiative. And the excuse the president's using is that this was, as you said, Mark, already earmarked.
Yeah, Jim?
Well, I think, first of all, that the Republicans who say we're wasting money should be looking at this as a waste of money. This is, it's proven the walls don't work. That kind of thing is not working. What Biden did here is convenient and not very, and not a smart thing to do. I don't approve of it. What he needs to do, look, the immigration and crime are two big issues that the Democrats have to deal with. But the way you deal with immigration is, why aren't they putting money into hiring judges to process these people who are at the border? Most of them who are coming in are the ones who are coming in under sanctuary. And because we can't process them for up to 10 years, they are allowed to either stay in the United States or they're brought back to Mexico, causing that friction at the border. There has to be a comprehensive immigration reform. And every time the Republicans, I saw Lindsey Graham on Face the Nation last week, and he's saying, Biden's failing at the border. And I don't know if Margaret Brennan is old enough or doesn't remember 2015 when Lindsey Graham was one of the sponsors of the comprehensive immigration bill. Throw that up in his face and say, why aren't you trying to do that again? That's what needs to be done. There is no shortcut to fixing the border. There has to be comprehensive immigration reform. And I know that the Republicans won't do it and you won't get it done in the House. But if we're talking just politics, if it's proposed in the Senate and shot down and passed in the Senate because of the Democratic majority and shot down into the House because of the Republicans, there goes their issue. They refuse to do anything about it. So I don't understand this piecemeal. It's 20 miles of wall. It's ridiculous. So, I don't understand what they're doing. It makes no sense.
The monies that you talk about for judges, let's just be clear, that would be an appropriations bill that would have to come through the House, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have to be part of a comprehensive. I guess they could pass it a separate bill, but the comprehensive immigration bill did several things. First of all, it sent all kinds of money and forces to the border. It addressed the Republican issues. It sent more border. It hired thousands of more border patrol. It sent money not for walls, but for electronic walls, for drones, they have these balloons out there, all kinds of money for forced enforcement at the wall, at the border. And then it also dealt with people who are already here, what we do with them, giving them a path to citizenship. It also dealt with the farmers being able to get workers. And it also dealt with the judges. It appropriated money to hire the judges. I've interviewed those judges.
Yeah, that money goes to the Justice Department. It doesn't go to Homeland Security. So the Justice Department has the oversight to hire those judges, which I should just adding to Jim, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I did. Merrick Garland's going to be have a mass swearing in of immigration judges in a couple of weeks in D.C. So that is happening, and so the need to co-opt an issue that is so distasteful to so many Democrats is even further confusing with this border wall thing.
Let me just say this and respond to this that I'm seeing in the chat. Comprehensive immigration reform, it's pointed to, is like what we always hear. Jim just outlined for you, Delwood, what that would be. I mean, this idea, comprehensive immigration reform is what we need. Yeah, Jim just told you what it was. It's not just a talking point. He actually put specifics on it. So I think the cynicism with which you approach this, you and I see a couple of other people in the chat, because you tune out after you hear comprehensive immigration reform. The dude just told you the specifics when it comes to comprehensive immigration reform. And he also, and I'm glad you did, both of you, point to the almost legislative finish line that was crossed during the Obama administration when there was a Lindsey Graham-sponsored immigration bill that almost made it. But it isn't just the case. And
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, Marco Rubio.
On that gang of 8, what they called it, I think. Maybe it was more than that. But it was Marco Rubio, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and the other Arizona senator at the time. So they had Republican support, but that was the beginning of the Tea Party, and the Tea Party shot it down in the House.
It was John Kyle was the other Arizona senator.
See, that's Michael Shure with the great,
short name, Jonkyl, shortest name in the Senate. Everybody knows that, Mark.
No, of course. Didn't run it.
The other thing is when you're that is not dingable. The shortest is not a dingable word.
No, it's because it's a trivia. It's like a trivia answer, I think.
But the other thing,
I think it was. And I hate to contradict my friend who knows more about politics than I've ever forgotten, but or something like that. It was Jeff Flake.
Might have been Jeff Flake. Yeah. So Jim wins because it was Jeff Flake.
The ding. We don't have a ding removal, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Right. But I forgot it at first. But I did remind.
How about Jeff Flake? A ding for Avila, though. All right. Now go ahead, Michael.
That's
please.
A ding from me too for knowing more. I forgot. The other thing is, and this is the on the street stuff, and this is the stuff that people like Delwood are frustrated by, is that when I talk to these voters, and granted, they're Trump supporters, they're going to Trump rallies, most of the people that I talk to. There's some of them are there, still fishing for a candidate. Some are Democrats that are spying, but for the most part, all of them are talking about immigration and how something needs to be done about immigration. They're talking about it more than they're talking about crime, because that crowd equates immigration with crime erroneously. They're talking about gas prices as the economy. So the Bidenomics to them, it doesn't matter. It's just the price of gas. And for some reason, they tie it to the president, and the president and the Democrats have not been able to message the fact that the president really has nothing to do with gas prices, right? There are subsidies that can be put in, and there's drilling that can be done, and they want to drill, but that's not going to really change very much. And immigration. And so in addressing this in a dumbed down way by saying, all right, we're going to finish what they said because we have to, they don't have to. The president can, by executive order, he could just say, no, we're not going to do it. And that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is the idea that the money was already earmarked, it was already in the pipeline. That's all a smokescreen for, I think, what you guys have pointed out, which is that.
And the economy is an issue that eventually I think is going to turn around for Biden. I still think, gas prices is the issue. 300,000 more jobs today announced by the Labor Department. A record number of just startling how many people are working in today's America. So, I think that issue may go away, but the problem is, as we know, every day you drive down the street, you see that I saw $7 in Beverly Hills yesterday for gas. And that just doesn't matter to me because I drive an electric car, but it's shocking to people. And unless the White House formulates some kind of message that puts it on greed of oil companies and shifts the blame to where it belongs, then there's no, they're going to lose on that issue, and that is a problem.
Now, the spot market prices are high also because of the Saudi cutback on oil and Russian cutback on oil. I mean, their international oil supplies are affected by that stuff too. But as you say, the president has no control over that. And it's even suggested that, both the Saudis and the Russians would like to see Biden out, and they would like to see a GOP winner because the GOP is just friendlier to their interests. So in any case, that's the gas thing. I wanted to ask you, though, about this story with the former president, Donald Trump, who, as we know, took all of these top secret classified documents to Mar-a-Lago. They're everywhere from the bathroom to the ballroom to the bedroom. All the B rooms were covered. I wonder if you could speak
and the
to
BM room too.
And the BM room, thank you. The notion that he's spilling secrets about these nuclear subs, and like pretty critical secrets too, like how many weapons are on board, like what kind of weaponry is on board, how close they can get to a Russian sub before they can become detected. Speak to this if you would, Michael Shure. Where does this stuff just never cut through politically?
It doesn't cut through politically until it cuts through with Republicans. And the more that they find that Trump did, the more it helps Trump. Even again, going back to these people that I speak to at these rallies, they say, keep indicting him, keep indicting him. They feel as if he is the persecuted, and that it is all political, and that it doesn't. And what he has done, he's changed things in American politics to where things don't matter. It started on the bus on Access Hollywood, because that never would have been accepted by any other candidate. And in fact, some candidates who were running for office at that time said that they were distancing themselves from Trump because of it, and they withdrew their endorsements. Well, they were the ones who suffered, and they didn't get elected, and Trump got elected. So it's changed that so much for Republicans, right? I mean, for Democrats, they still have a steeper hill to climb for whatever reason, because it matters to most of their voters, and it doesn't matter to Republican voters. So I think these things, yes, do they matter? Yes, they're illegal. And he broke the law if that's the case. And he could get in a lot of trouble for it. But does it matter to the Republican voter? Apparently not. There are people that say that they don't care if he shoots someone on Fifth Avenue.
Well, and it also could result in an additional charge.
Yeah.
The other shoe could drop. It could be a sedition charge, a treason charge. And I'm sorry, the correct word is espionage, an espionage charge. And because he turned it over to a foreign national, shared these secrets, serious secrets, as you mentioned, Mark. And, anybody else who would have done that, in fact, the people who have been charged recently, the poor, military guy up in South Dakota or something, in jail right away. People's lives are ruined by this kind of stuff because they made serious mistakes with national secrets. And this guy is suffering nothing right now, and he should be put in jail now. He is a danger to our national security, and he's proven that. And Jack Smith knows it. He's had this guy testify before the grand jury, according to ABC News.
The solidarity of that Trump wing of the GOP, I think it's really played out in some of these videos. Michael does go around to these Trump rallies, in addition to a lot of other reporting he's done. He's gone to COVID wards and all the rest. But you'll just take a second and look at Michael's interaction with some of these Trump supporters, and you'll see how, as is suggested, they're steadfast. There are a couple of moments, and Michael sort of challenges them politely. Go ahead, Albert. Will you play some of it, please? I thought that intro was long enough that Albert would have it ready, but Albert, no, Albert's not.
Albert, thank you.
My video went away. I'm just reloading it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, anyway, all right. Thank you. Here we go.
What is the one thing that made your life better when he was president?
Well, everything that he did when he was president made my life better. The economy was great. Unemployment was low.
It's never been lower than it is right now, though.
Wow. Wait, we could edit this? Hang on a second. These are tough questions.
And what's one thing he did when he was in office that made your life better, specifically?
The economy. He rose the economy up. You see? He ended what you call slavery of the working class people. That's what he did.
How do you do that?
He created jobs, opened up the market for free trade, fair pricing, the whole 9 yards. Look at our border. How it is. All them people pouring in here. That's an invasion. That is an invasion. You are corrupting our country and taking jobs from the American people first, but yet making us provide for the illegal aliens y'all bring in here. And that's all I got to say. Thank you. God bless Trump.
Why are you excited to see Donald Trump?
Best president in the last century.
This guy's my favorite.
In what ways? And what is it about his presidency that made your life better?
I think he kind of brought together diversion between races. I think that things were good for everybody.
Specifically, what?
Hispanics, blacks, whites, everybody, all the middle class. So I believe he did that.
What would you like to see him do?
And he did it in 4 years and 2.5 years, and now we're into is the world gonna explode?
Where are my weed smokers at?
I don't think
of policies and things like that.
Very excited. Love Trump. He's the best.
What do you love about him? What did he do when he was
This is
president?
the last one we'll run.
One thing that made your life better that you love about him.
Everything he did made my life better.
Specific.
He doesn't lie. He tried to reduce our taxes. He tried to eliminate the evil that's the left.
Tell me about that. Do you think that the left is evil?
Absolutely, 100%.
In what way?
In every way possible. They lie. They're hypocrites.
About what? I'm sorry. I'm being a journalist here, but I'm just trying to get specifics. Like what?
Okay, they lie about lowering taxes. They lie about helping the American people. They lie about what they're doing in education to our children.
What is it that they're lying about there?
Well, everything. I mean, I think they've totally dumbed down our children. Our children don't know half of what we used to know when we were young, and it's all done on purpose. I just don't feel the left has the family and children at the base of their concern. I really don't.
Yeah. So thank you, Albert, for that. I mean, these are, in a way, they're just perverted talking points, but when it comes to education, you think, oh, well, she might be the stuff about grooming, the stuff about political correctness, that might be the stuff that's cutting through for her and reverberating around. But you see how immovable, what don't you like about the Democrats? Everything.
They parrot a lot, Mark, and just ordinarily in certain situations you would really press these people more than this assignment has me doing. This is just really being a sounding board to what these people are thinking, and I don't spend a ton of time challenging them. I always say it's like opening a vein and letting them bleed a little bit, and so you get a window into what is motivating these people. But it's talking points, it's generalities, and it's parroting things, and it's refusing to take what the media is saying, except the media that they choose to look at. Invariably, many of them will say to me where they get their information from, and it's from websites that you and I have likely not heard of.
Yeah, and to me, it's a difficult situation. Look, watching that is somewhat entertaining because they're fools. I mean, they're idiots. And there's always been in this country 30 to 35% idiots. Now, Trump has given them an excuse to cover. He's given them cover to go ahead and express their idiotic views. That's what he's done. But remember, again, I say this again and again and again, it's 35%. The independents and the Democrats make up first of all, there are more Democrats than there are Republicans, period. And then there are, right now, independents swing much more Democratic than they are Republican because of Donald Trump. Those folks, I would say, are entertaining but irrelevant.
But by the way, there's this. Pauline asks, where can one watch the entire segment from Michael? Michael, that's on TYT, isn't it?
Yeah, TYT. Go to the YouTube channel for TYT and click videos, and there should be several of them up there. I don't watch a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, yeah, I get it. I mean,
your head will explode.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. But before I let you guys go quickly, because we really are out of time, but just speak to the dysfunction of the GOP and the choice of speaker. That happened this week, the removal of, McCarthy and all of that, Jim. I mean, where does this go? Where does this end up?
Well, it looks like it's going over to the wrestling coach, Jim Jordan. It appears as though, I don't think Steve Scalise, who's the other candidate, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's too closely connected to Kevin McCarthy. Plus, he has health issues. Jim Jordan is relatively popular among Republicans in the House. I think he has the leg up on this, and that's going to make a dysfunctional House even more dysfunctional because he's not interested in passing any laws. He's not interested in any kind of coalition building, any kind of bipartisanship. He is purely a mouthpiece for Trump and also for divisiveness.
I wouldn't. I think getting to 218 is going to be really tough for Jim Jordan. I think there's also a faction of House members who don't want to support the person that Matt Gaetz is supporting for Speaker, and because there is division about Matt Gaetz in the caucus as well. I agree that Steve Scalise probably can't build a coalition that's big enough. So I think this is going to go a little deeper. Names to watch, I'd say look at Tom Cole, look at Garrett Graves from Louisiana, possibility to who might be able to appeal to the Freedom Caucus side. And then there is always Patrick McHenry, who is going to be who is now the Speaker pro tem there. I'm not saying that any of them are going to sort of catch up and beat this guy or either of these guys. I just don't see where Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise get to 218, but somebody's going to have to, and it may just have to be a compromise candidate.
Yeah, it's a bizarre moment in American history. All right, guys, thank you. Appreciate that. Always appreciate you guys here for this 1 year anniversary. We're in our 1 year anniversary week. In fact, I think both of you have said you can make the meetup, which will be kind of cool. We're doing a virtual anniversary meetup Thursday night of next week. So thank you both, and I look forward to next week. Thanks, guys. So long. Jim Avila and Michael Shure.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to email us, there it is. Albert flaps shit up there. The Mark Thompson Show at gmail.com. You can email us. I will take a second, if I can, to acknowledge, Albert. Can we do that? And then we'll do Kim's News. Then I've got Snyder. And I will alert our stations that we will be running a little bit late. So I think looking ahead, I already see that. Bill Marshall, 15. Thanks for the informative and entertaining show. Come on, big shout out.
I like
Where's
his
my
picture,
big shout
too.
out
That's
to
cute.
Bill?
Big shout out.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, Sharon Kidd. Fabulous Friday, Florida.
See,
it's
I'm
actually
not alone.
Friday, Fabulous Florida. But I'll let it go because it's Sharon Kidd.
Big shout out.
Yes. Thanks for the 20. Happy anniversary to Mark, Kim, Tony, Albert, and John Daly even gets a mention. Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Really, really cool. Thank you so much, Sharon. You are such a big supporter. Really do appreciate it.
I also have another anniversary greeting here.
Oh.
From Tim. This is from Tim.
Here we go.
Hey, Mark. Tim here. You read my email 2 weeks ago. It's Tim the idiot that got Facebook and you, Kim and Tony and Albert are in my life for 2 hours every day. Remember, I'm your number. That's 30 seconds. Dude, that's not enough time. That's not enough time. Anyway, remember, I was the one that emailed you that dude, I've never missed an episode. Get a life, but whatever. My business awards me the opportunity to hey, happy birthday, my sister-in-law. The opportunity to be able to listen to you every day. Anyway, happy anniversary, and here comes my sister-in-law right here from Peru.
Hey, everybody.
Can you turn that timer off? It's bugging me. You can turn it off. Anyway, I love you guys.
Love it, Tim. Thank you.
That's
that
awesome.
was fun. I haven't seen
really
it. That's
cute.
really fun. Also got this from Lee. Good morning, all. I wanted to send my congratulations to your on your anniversary. I've been a listener since, I think, day 4 of the Mark Thompson Show on YouTube. I grieved when KGO went off the air, and I was so thrilled when you came back as a team. I got my son hooked on the YouTube videos, and I listen on Apple Podcasts. May you have much success in taking on the cumulus overlords. Cheers. Lee, Chance, my son, and Cadaver is the cat. Cadaver Stevens. Cat Stevens, get it? I like it. I like it. Thank you, Lee. Very cool that you. We have others, and we'll get to them. Let me just do one more.
I have a great email from Susan. I love that one too.
Oh, okay. Well, give us that one then.
Do we have the picture? This is the Christmas tree picture. Hello, the Mark Thompson crew. Longtime lurker, first-time emailer here. First off, congratulations on reaching the impressive milestone of your 1-year anniversary. As a longtime KGO listener, the news of KGO going dark hit me hard a year ago. Coincidentally, I was laid off the same day, too. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Your journey since then has been nothing short of inspiring, showcasing resilience and perseverance. Your ability to pivot in the face of uncertainty has been a guiding light for me. To commemorate your show, I'm sharing a photo of myself proudly repping the Mark Thompson Show. This shirt has been a staple in my wardrobe, making appearances everywhere, from the pickleball courts to vacation destinations.
I love it.
I even had a memorable encounter with a fellow listener at the South San Francisco Costco who complimented my KGO in Exile shirt. In the moment, I was tempted to play it cool and ask, "Who's Mark Thompson?" But the pleasant surprise got the best of me, and I was left speechless. So if you happen to be that fellow listener and Costco shopper, thank you for brightening my day. Congratulations, and here's to your remarkable journey and many more years to come. All the best, Susan.
Wow, Susan, what a beautiful note.
There's never been anything like
this.
Yeah, what
And
a
look
beautiful
how-
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how great she looks in the shirt. What a
Yeah.
wonderful message.
She's
Thank you,
rocking the
Susan.
shirt. That was one of the limited edition shirts we first had, the KGO and
so
Exile
great.
shirts. Yeah.
I just
Very
love the
cool.
faces and the experiences and hearing from people. This is wonderful.
You can send us a short video or audio, less than 30 seconds if you can manage it. I mean, it's not hard and fast. Happy anniversary MTS at gmail.com. That's the address. Happy anniversary MTS at gmail.com. Thank you for Albert's helping to get the stuff organized, get the stuff going. We'll share a bunch with you. And again, the meetup, we have an anniversary meetup on anniversary night, which is Thursday night of next week. It's the Mark Thompson Show anniversary night, October 12th. You'll get a link. You'll be able to join us for 2 glorious hours. We're limiting the number to 20, 7:45 to 9:45. The time shifted by 45 minutes, a bit later, 7:45 to 9:45 next Thursday, October 12th. And again, the limit is 20 people because we want to be able to legitimately interact with people, and we have guests coming through. And if we get too many people, we can't do that. So RSVP, mtsmeetup@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with how you do it. mtsmeetup@gmail.com. It's a $50 donation to secure your seat. That goes to supporting the show, and we appreciate that. So that happens on Thursday night. Good times.
The Mark Thompson Show.
I'll try to read another communication before the end of the show. I'd like to now. Can I get a news capsule quickly, Kim?
Yes.
Because I have the Culture Blaster waiting. We've got movies and all kinds of cool stuff streaming. I want to get to Michael, who's also been a part of our last year. It's so cool that he's here on Fridays. But Kim's news and then the great Michael Snyder, Culture Blaster. Smash the like button like a
Smashed
boss.
it with your iron rod.
And this report is sponsored by Coachella Valley Coffee. Let's go to the former president. A series of rulings by the New York judge in Donald Trump's business fraud trial have the former president's attorneys trying to get a pause in this trial. The judge's rulings yesterday clear the way to sell off the Trump business empire. Trump and the Trump Organization are being sued for $250 million, and the judge has already issued a summary judgment that the former president engaged in business fraud. Meanwhile, President Biden says Bidenomics is working after significantly better than expected jobs reports came out for September. Speaking to reporters today, President Biden says his administration has created nearly 14 million jobs since he took office. The September report showed an additional 336,000 jobs. President Biden could meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping next month in San Francisco. The president telling reporters at the White House today a face-to-face meeting with Xi is possible during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum in mid-November in San Francisco. The meeting would be the first between the leaders since they met on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Bali last November. This comes amid heightened tensions between Washington and Beijing. Special counsel David Weiss and attorneys for Hunter Biden have opposing views, you could say, of a previous agreement regarding a felony gun charge or charges. Hunter's attorneys are asking a judge to dismiss the indictment because of the agreement. Weiss says the agreement was never in effect because it was never signed by a court official. Just like in 2020, when the pandemic hit, Americans remain split along party lines when it comes to COVID. That's right. About 70% of Democrats say they've gotten or plan to get the COVID booster shot. Less than 30% of Republicans say they'll get the shot. 70 to 30. Well, okay.
Yeah, it seems like,
Yeah.
Duncan.
I mean, I was reading a story that showed that when you look at who during the pandemic passed away, that more Republicans passed away because of the political ideology not to get the vaccine.
Oh, the red states paid
yeah.
a much bigger price than
Right.
did blue. I mean, I hate to go red and blue in this country, but it's an undeniable fact. Yeah. And you could also point to some of the general health of red states and blue states. There's,
Right.
there are issues with comorbidities in many of these states that become an issue as well. But anyway, I mean, when it comes to disinformation, the GOP is way out ahead.
Former Los Angeles City Councilman and County Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas will remain free while he appeals his federal corruption conviction. Yesterday, a U.S. District Judge approved a motion for bail pending appeal. Ridley Thomas found guilty on 7 felony counts, including bribery, conspiracy, 4 counts of wire fraud, and 1 count of mail fraud. In August, he was sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison and was due to surrender next month. Ooh. That's great. Our politics in action there.
That was an ongoing saga in Southern California and Los Angeles for such a long time with Ridley Thomas. Yeah.
A Southern California man who groped a sleeping woman on a United Airlines flight from Cleveland to Los Angeles has been sentenced to almost 2 years in prison. Now, there's a good sentence. You little copophilia of somebody next to you, 2 years in prison.
I
Excellent.
agree.
Good day, sir.
Right.
A Los Angeles federal court jury convicted Mohammed Ansari of abusive sexual contact in May. He was sentenced this week to 21 months in prison and ordered to pay more than $35,000 in fines and restitution.
Sayonara, sucker.
That's right. The Securities and Exchange Commission is suing Elon Musk to force him to testify in the investigation of X. The SEC claims Musk did not comply with subpoenas to testify. The case involves Musk's purchase of Twitter last year and the trading of company stock prior to the acquisition.
Let me say this again about Elon Musk. When you're trying to regulate or in any way control Elon Musk, good luck if you're the U.S. government. You need Elon Musk. He has grown to the point, in terms of his technology, in terms of his pull, in terms of his wealth, that he honestly has captured government. So he can flip the bird to any subpoena you want to provide, because you need him to launch your satellites, your defense satellites, your communication satellites. You've become so dependent on Elon Musk, and he knows it.
He's meeting with foreign leaders now.
Yeah. He really is like the powerful villain in a Bond film. Now, is everything he's doing villainous? No, but some of what he's doing is villainous. So more to the point, he's become unregulatable. You cannot get a leash on this guy because of his power. And so when we talk about him, shining on subpoenas and the like, get used to it. He doesn't have to show up anywhere he doesn't want to, and he certainly doesn't want to show up any place that's provided him with a subpoena.
Lastly, Prada is helping design NASA's new astronaut moon suits. They're going to be very stylish. The high fashion company was chosen to work on the suits by Axiom Space, a private company awarded a NASA contract last year to modernize its astronaut suits. Clearly, they're being paid way too much money if they can hire Prada. The Prada spacesuits will be worn on NASA's Artemis 3 mission in 2025, when the U.S. will send astronauts to the moon for the first time since 1972.
Wow.
Prada
stepping up in style. Yeah. Launching to the moon in style, everybody.
That's right. I mean,
it's the Prada launch.
Who wants to wear a sack when you can wear a Prada suit?
Sure.
This report sponsored by Coachella Valley Coffee with an exclusive deal for Mark Thompson Show listeners at 10% off across the board at CoachellaValleyCoffee.com. Their coffee is amazing. You know how much Mark loves it. I really love the tea. The coffee is being used in my house by my husband, and I saw the second bag of it just got cracked open over here. So he is loving it, my husband, and we know that you will too. CoachellaValleyCoffee.com, CoachellaValleyCoffee.com. Your 10% off, you put at the checkout Mark T, and you get your 10% off. I'm Kim McAllister. This is The Mark Thompson Show.
Mark Thompson Show.
My wife wants some vegetables for crudité.
I was a basketball referee.
Feels great, baby.
Use Mark Thompson. It's unbelievably offensive.
What he's got going here is a situation.
I was fortunate. Everyone I worked with made me better at my job.
You are a cover-up artist and you are a liar.
Yeah, we are on our big Friday show. Thank you for being here. Our 1-year anniversary approaches, and we got this from Heidi, an email, and it starts with, "Hi there. I discovered your show while I was battling breast cancer 3 years ago.
Oh, Heidi.
And it got me through some sleepless nights. I was so disappointed when I couldn't find you last year. But much to my amazement, you were found on YouTube. I love your show, the regulars, and the guests. Enjoy the anniversary. Heidi." Love that.
Oh, Heidi, I
Such
hope
a
you're
sweet-
well. Wonderful.
Wish you good health and happiness. And if you have anything to say to us on the anniversary, you can hit us on the anniversary email, which is happyanniversarymts@gmail.com. And if you want to send us a short video or audio, you send to that same address. Less than 30 seconds if you can do it. happyanniversarymts@gmail.com. So we've gotten some good ones. We'll table, for now, the other greetings because I've got Michael waiting, one of the guys who's been a big part of our last year on Fridays. He came into the radio station when we were on the radio. Then he followed us over to YouTube. He's a big Giants fan. He's a Dubs fan. He's a Niners fan. He commutes really between, or goes back and forth between San Francisco and Los Angeles as a writer. Brilliant, brilliant guy, and takes in every kind of medium, music, obscure subtitle films, from some filmmaker who's living essentially in obscurity. Michael sees the movie. And also the big blockbuster movies. Michael's a comic book collector, so he knows the DC universe and the Marvel universe. Pretty much an incredible guy, I think, in terms of just his literacy when it comes to media. I like to give him the longest intros that one can possibly imagine. So he comes and goes, yes, on a rainbow. How about it for the great Michael Snyder, everyone? Hi, Michael.
Oh, thank you for that loving intro, that 8 minutes into my segment, Mark. Jeez Louise, we're not running too late, are we? By the way, if that was a news capsule, it was a horse capsule, the kind you can barely swallow with a gallon of water.
Oh,
no,
my God, he does.
Kim does her work beautifully. I always tune in to hear her news segments, and of course, she always manages to nail it. Mark, I am up in San Francisco, and it is Fleet Week here in San Francisco.
No.
And you know what that means? That means duck and cover. The Blue Angels are coming.
Oh, that's right. The Blue Angels. Is that show tomorrow? Tomorrow and Sunday. They usually do 2 days.
When movie lovers hear the phrase Blue Angel, they lovingly recall the great Marlene Dietrich film of the same name. And when San Franciscans hear Blue Angel, they really hear Blue Angel. I mean, these guys are ear-splitting, sound barrier breaking. They're buzzing buildings in town as they rehearse for tomorrow's air show, and it's a massive nuisance. And I say that to you in case halfway through our segment, we hear the roar of jet engines.
I see. Okay, good. Well, we stand warned. Thank you.
Okay, so it's a familiar refrain. But it's a given that the movie industry is going to milk every brand and initially successful franchise with sequels, prequels, reboots, and remakes until there ain't no milk left, or it's sour. I mean, it's enough to make your head spin. And I don't know, puke, pea soup, green vomit?
Anyway, it sounds to me like you're warming up to an Exorcist review.
Speaking of spinning heads and green vomit,
yeah.
The Exorcist. Okay, more specifically, The Exorcist Believer, the latest entry in a decades-long run of horror films about demonic possession. The first one, directed by William Friedkin and based on the bestseller by William Peter Blatty, was a rarity, a horror movie that scored multiple Oscar nominations, and it still scared the bejesus out of people. I don't know where you were when this thing came out, but I remember the shrieks in the theater when I saw it. And that wasn't over what was even back then the ridiculous price of popcorn. The Exorcist focused on an innocent prepubescent girl, little Regan McNeil, living with her mother in a nice Washington, D.C. area townhouse. And when Regan is taken over by a demon named Pazuzu, a battle is waged by Regan's mother and a couple of tormented Catholic priests to free the kid from the evil presence. The inferior sequel, The Exorcist Heretic, checked in with the McNeils, but was mostly a scenery chew de force by the great Richard Burton, who looked like he was sweating whiskey as another tormented priest in conflict with Hellspawn. You know, I remember Burton's character bellowing the immortal words, "Pazuzu, take me where I can find Kokumu." That's always stuck with me. Anyway.
Well, he was battling then several demons, both the evil demon and the evil demon of alcohol. So.
I love that their names all end with a ooh. Because that's what you're thinking as you're watching this thing. Ooh. Anyway, a few other movies bore the Exorcist brand, but the new one, which is the first in many years, actually has connections to the first, even if Pazuzu's name doesn't come up. And it's set in small town Georgia, not Georgetown, after an opening in Haiti that has, at best, a tenuous connection to the rest of Believer. There was a single parent played by Tony winner Leslie Odom Jr. of Hamilton fame, and there's a young daughter targeted by devilish forces after she and a friend get lost in the woods for 3 days. And by the way, the daughter is black, her best friend is white, and both girls get demonized, so to speak. And apparently Satan is an equal opportunity possessor, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the filmmakers figured that if one possessed girl covered in welts and boils, contorting, floating, cursing was scary, two would be downright terrorific, and double the demons, double the fun. But the eerie, disgusting bits that had such shock value when they were first brought to the screen have lost some of their impact when reworked today. We've seen quite a few movies with exorcisms since the original Exorcist. Plus, in a post-Saw, post-Conjuring world, we're all kind of desensitized to unspeakable violence, gore, and supernatural shenanigans. David Gordon Green, who co-wrote and directed The Exorcist Believer, also made the recent Halloween sequel trilogy, which started off strong, then got weaker in the second and third installments. Green has the benefit of the magnetic Odom, as well as the always great Ann Dowd as, you know, the spiritual lady next door. And yes, Ellen Burstyn reprising her role as Chris McNeil, Reagan's mother from the first movie.
Wow.
This is not a very memorable start, though, to what I hear is being planned as another trilogy by the director. Since it's scary season, I suppose it wouldn't be a total waste of time to see The Exorcist Believer in a theater, but there are better and more genuinely frightening films out there. Again, this is in theaters.
Wow. I grew up in Washington, D.C. We used to pass those Exorcist stairs all the time. And so the location where they shot that sort of was, infamous, And I loved the original. As you say, it had a realism to it. And I thought it was just brilliant. I mean, so this is, sadly, it doesn't quite, I love that they reach back to the original, but you're saying it just doesn't live up to.
Right, it doesn't. And Ellen Burstyn earns the feelings that you sense when she shows up on screen in this thing. But, it's kind of, here you go, folks. Look, it's Chris McNeil. I can only remember with fondness the absolute hysteria in the theater while I watched the original. Oh my God, did you see that girl's head? I mean, it was like the craziness was off the charts. Anyway.
I will just say one last thing. I really was a fan of William Friedkin, and I went to see him speak on a special screening of The Exorcist in Q&A, and he told a story about a priest who had reached out to him because of a demonic possession that they thought they were witnessing in a remote part of Italy. And they asked about a bunch of specific, certain things related to, because Friedkin had done some research in these demonic possession things. And the priest said, we don't think it's a true demonic possession because the little boy hasn't turned his head all the way around. And Friedkin said, Friedkin said that was something we literally made up. It's a movie thing. It has no basis in actual reality. And it was funny to, and of course, Friedkin laughed as he said, you know, the film informed real life and the assessment of different situations as to whether or not they are true demonic possessions. Truly insane, the power of the movie.
That's not fake. That's real.
Well, sort of. Anyway,
Moving
what
on.
do we got here? Oh, a Pedro Almodovar Western that's a half hour long. I mean, shorter than an episode of Deadwood or Bonanza. And Almodovar's Strange Way of Life, written and directed by the acclaimed Spanish author, is in theaters. It's not on television. That's right. Strange Way of Life is the latest Almodovar film, and it's a little mini Western. Of course, it also stars Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, so there's star power to go along with any gunpowder that might get ignited. And the story is simple. Two former gunmen who worked together 25 years ago are reunited when Pascal Silva, now a rancher, rides into the town where his former buddy Jake, played by Hawke, is now the sheriff. Though they do seem to revel in reconnecting and enjoy one another's company that night, it turns out that the reunion was triggered by something less than congenial. Hawke and Pascal are fine actors, of course, and they do a good job in this brief study of a lost friendship that's going to be revisited due to circumstance and tested by opposing loyalties. But this is sort of Almodovar's, I don't know, Brokeback Pedro. And I didn't completely buy Hawke and Pascal that way. Still, Strange Way of Life is the product of a top-tier filmmaker, looks smashing, gallops right along, and is over in 31 minutes. What's not to dig, partner? You know,
what do you
it's
do?
in theaters.
It's in the theater, so it's paired with something else?
I assume so. It's part of like little double features, or
Okay.
you know, I don't know if it's a lagniappe, as they say in New Orleans, a little something extra. Go see this movie, and guess what you're going to see as well. I don't get
see.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on, I relish the chance to see two rising actors opposite one another in a provocatively themed movie. So when I heard about Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal playing husband and wife in the sci-fi drama Foe, I was beyond intrigued. Both Ronan and Mescal are Oscar nominees who have made impeccable choices in their roles. And Foe, based on an Ian Reid bestseller, is about a couple, Hen and Junior, whose life together on desolate farmland in a dystopian future is shaken up when a man they've never seen before drops by unannounced and essentially conscripts them into a government program. So this compels them.
Yeah.
This compels them to personally confront issues surrounding that omnipresent topic, artificial intelligence, such as sentience and identity. And it also tests the strength of their relationship, including whether or not they share the same hopes and dreams. So this sounds promising. Am I right? But the result comes off as if, I don't know, Ingmar Bergman decided to make a science fiction movie in a drought-ravaged corner of America's heartland while on Zoloft. I mean, you get lots of slow, deliberate conversations with the admittedly terrific actors in close-up, interspersed with shots of the barren wasteland outside the farmhouse. The result was surprisingly leaden, with occasional sparks from the leads, illuminating a very fuzzy approach to the AI aspects of the story, which was directed by Garth Davis, who co-wrote the script with the book's author, Reed. Foe is in theaters. I was not impressed.
Wow, you sound like it's really missable. Leaden is a ding word. Yes, you're true. Tom is watching your ding words. I guess
yeah,
I missed a few.
By
of
all
them, but-
means, another fabulous Mark Thompson time waster, the ding word.
Go ahead.
Moving on. Rebecca Miller, daughter of the esteemed playwright Arthur Miller and wife of the esteemed actor Daniel Day-Lewis, has made some impressive art house films, including Personal Velocity and Maggie's Plan. And now she's written and directed a lighthearted romantic dramedy titled She Came to Me, that's more oddball than screwball, but I'm damned if I didn't get caught up in it. Peter Dinklage is typically compelling as Stephen, a creatively blocked, high-maintenance composer of modern operas who's married to his therapist, Patricia, played by Anne Hathaway. They have a comfortable life in Brooklyn, with her smart and upstanding teenage son, Trey, who is in love with sweet fellow student Teresa. The marriage of Stephen and Patricia, though, is on shaky ground, so it's no surprise when the composer, searching for inspiration, goes out for an afternoon walk with the family dog, ends up in a local dive bar for a little, day drinking, and hits it off with, the name kills me, Katrina, an attractive, down-to-earth female tugboat captain from New Orleans, hence Katrina. And
I get it, yeah.
She's played by Marissa Tomei. So Katrina wrestles with sex addiction and is attracted to Stephen. And although usually bottled up, he goes with the flow this time, and their unexpected block. You kind of just know that Katrina is going to somehow insert herself into Stephen's life. But what's unexpected is the struggle young Trey has when Teresa's uptight stepfather tries to undermine the young lovers. She came to me, was a little silly at times, but I was amused by much of it, probably due to Dinklage, Hathaway, and Tomei, who seem to be having a ball and kind of elevate the material when it gets a bit wan. It's in theaters.
It's a comedy, you're telling me.
Ish.
Yeah, comedy-ish. Fun-ish. Okay.
All
right, moving on.
My favorite film of the week. I got to get to my favorite film.
Please.
From her supporting roles in The Americans and Ozark to her lead roles in Inventing Anna and the indie feature The Assistant, Julia Garner has been a revelation. I just love her. I love her work. And now she's teamed up with a fellow young actress, Jessica Henwick, in The Royal Hotel, which is a scorcher of a thriller about two American girls, Hannah, played by Garner, and Liv, played by Henwick, backpacking through Australia and backpacking into trouble. When they run out of cash, the two friends end up tending bar at the titular and ironically named Royal Hotel, which is a ramshackle dump in a rough outback mining town. Oh, nothing royal about the place, let me tell you. Their boss at the pub, where they're temporarily working and living, seems a bit sketchy, but it's the motley crew of locals that is generally worse. They're hard drinking, aggressive, and chauvinistic, and potentially dangerous. Admittedly, they are Australians, right? So, no surprise. Despite Liz's encouragement, Hannah was not crazy about taking on the gig, even though she kind of went along with the plan. The tension and the dread build in scene after scene, and it kind of feels like it's a matter of time before something awful is going to happen. And what's it going to be? And how bad is it going to be? And is Hannah needlessly worrying? So you got to watch The Royal Hotel. And what I consider an enhanced depiction of women in a patriarchal dilemma to find out. Garner and Henwick benefit from very taut direction by Kitty Green, who co-wrote the spring-loaded script, and so does the rest of the cast, including an almost unrecognizable Hugo Weaving as the girls' slovenly boss, and a bunch of memorable supporting actors. Some of them indigenous as the town folk.
Yeah.
As it happens, Green is the Australian filmmaker who wrote and directed that complex and resonant performance by Garner in The Assistant a couple of years ago, and they score again with The Royal Hotel. Green and Garner obviously make a great team, and watching Garner here is thrilling and chilling. I was drained when I left the screening of The Royal Hotel, but I never checked out, if you get my drift.
I get it. Resonant is a ding word. Yeah, I'm impressed. So this is a thriller. It's in theaters.
It is indeed. And it's my favorite movie this week. And one of my favorites of the year so far, The Royal Hotel, written and directed by Kitty Green and starring specifically and particularly the great Julia Garner.
Anything on TV, Michael Snyder?
Yeah, if you go to Hulu, buddy, oh my God. Totally Killer is a film, and it's a fun, frothy, freaky, comedic cocktail that mixes slasher horror, time travel science fiction, and John Hughes high school hijinks. And it gleefully references and uses The Breakfast Club, John Carpenter's Halloween, and especially Back to the Future, among other cultural touchstones. The meta aspects of Totally Killer may get a bit smug with the overt mentions of those movies, like, see, we know what we're ripping off. It's cool. And you know what?
Overt
It
is
is
a dig
cool.
word.
This
Yeah.
is not a prestige project, trolling for awards. It's a good time genre thing that I liked much more than, the Nexorcist or whatever you want to call it. So
Right.
the heroine is a cool modern kid, Jamie, played by Kiernan Shipka, who was Sabrina the Teenage Witch on TV prior to this. It's Halloween in her hometown, where 35 years ago, the Sweet 16 killer murdered 3 teenage girls. Jamie doesn't care about her mother's continued apprehension about the serial killer. She's off to have fun. But when the Sweet 16 killer finally turns up again, Jamie finds herself thrust through time to when the first murders happened, and armed with future knowledge, tries to stop the killings. In the process, she meets her mother, who was a high school mean girl back then, and she doesn't, they don't get along. It's really
Wow.
pretty funny, pretty entertaining.
Oh, that's
stuff.
great. That sounds great. And it sounds like it's fun enough that I could watch it, even though there's sort of a...
You could. Directed by Nahnatchka Khan. I really enjoyed Totally Killer. And again, it's a throwaway, but if you're going to watch something, for the Halloween season right now, this weekend's choices, basically you've got a truly scary thriller in the Royal Hotel, and you've got a very funny kind of meta comedy in Totally Killer. So, The Exorcist comes in a distant third there.
Wow. Totally Killer on Hulu. The Exorcist, I was just trying to follow the visuals there. Okay, so Totally Killer on Hulu. There it is. He likes it as a throwaway, but good little indulgence. His pick of the week is a Royal Hotel. Juliette Garner in this thriller that's in the theater. Directed by Kitty Green. And Garner's brilliant. And apparently Michael feels this is one you really should see. The Royal Hotel. I'm sorry, the one I just mentioned, the Royal Hotel. The She Came to Me. That's the Peter Dinklage, Anne Hathaway film. He plays a composer. He meets Katrina, the female tugboat captain, played by Marissa Tomei. The two hook up. And he said it's kind of cute and funny and not bad.
No.
Foe is the Saoirse Ronan thing about AI, and there was a lot of potential here in terms of subject matter, but apparently this film realized none of it. It is slow, it is plotting, it is missable, according to our Culture Blaster. Strange Way of Life is the interestingly short half-hour offering from Pedro Almodovar. It's a Western with Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal. Michael liked it. He just can't understand what's going to go with it. For 30 minutes, it's going to be paired with something. So he said, you see it in the theater, but you'll probably get something else as a bonus because, again, it's only 30 minutes. And finally, The Exorcist. The sequel is called The Exorcist Believer. It harkens back to the first Exorcist, the one that changed cinema in many ways and changed horror, as Michael noted. It was an Academy Award-winning performance and film back in the original days. This brings back Ellen Burstyn from that original film, Michael says. But he also says, aside from seeing Ellen Burstyn again, not a lot great here, right, Michael?
It's true. There are a couple good scenes, but a couple good scenes does not necessarily mean an entire, movie worth sitting through, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, you've acquitted yourself so nicely here today, Michael. We miss you in the studio, but look forward to, when are you coming into the studio again?
Probably a week or two, probably a couple weeks, certainly by mid-October. And I will do my very best to be a part of the anniversary celebration next Thursday.
I love that. And Michael, quickly a word about the Niners and Cowboys.
I am filled with dread, more dread than I experienced during The Exorcist Believer, I promise you. They have a great defense. The Cowboys, and they are going to be coming at our O-line like snarling, angry dogs, like wolves going after our golden boy, Brock Purdy. I can only hope that the Niners are up to the task. I know that their offense is crackling right now, and if they can keep Purdy protected, and he does what he does so well, which is process what he sees and make good decisions, I think we'll be okay. But
wow, there
you
it
never
is.
know.
A complete breakdown and summary from the great Culture Blaster, Michael Snyder. Find him across social media as the Culture Blaster. He comes and goes here on a rainbow. Bye, Michael.
Happy weekend, everybody.
Yeah. Happy weekend to you, buddy.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Albert, please don't tell me we're done, are we?
We're done. We got a quick 10 from Susan Roberts.
Susan Roberts, a big shout out.
Big shout out.
Thank you, Susan, for a 10 spot. Thank you. Everybody's been very generous in our home stretch here as we finish up 1 year on this new platform. Can you share with everyone, Albert, as you do so beautifully, sir, as producer? Can you share with them the address for sending any kind of 1 year anniversary missive that you'd like to send? Again, you can send us a video or audio, less than 30 seconds if you can, to happyanniversarymts@gmail.com. happyanniversarymts@gmail.com. Still have a few spots for our meetup. We're limiting it to 20. And for that, what's the address on the meetup, Albert? It's mtsmeetup@gmail.com. Thank you, sir. The limit is 20. RSVP mtsmeetup@gmail.com. $50 donation secures a spot. It'll be a great weekend,
I'm Sheriff
everyone.
Stevens for the Mark Thompson Show. Bye-bye.
But an even better week next week.
Out of time. Bye-bye.
After Party Live is going down right now. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you. Until Monday. Bye-bye.